Land reform is a transfer of land ownership from large holders to small, but land reform alone does not guarantee neither subsistence, nor equity, nor growth, nor progress towards modernity to most rural societies. In order to sustain itself and to achieve these values, land reform must be accompanied by agrarian reform, defined as the creation of the physical and institutional infrastructure necessary for smallholders to maintain themselves. The Philippines, even before being colonized by different countries, already has developed an organization for their communities. The land owned by these communities is known as barangay. When the Spanish came to the country, they introduced an agriculture system wherein the rural communities were organized into pueblo, and each native family is given a land to cultivate. But these native families are not legitimate landowners. In 1865, there was a law made for landholders to register their land holdings, but only a few were aware of this decree. As a result, many peasant families were driven out from the lands they have been cultivating for centuries. Realizing that being landless was the main cause of social unrest and revolt at that time, the Americans sought to put an end to the problem by passing several land policies to distribute land ownership among the greater number of Filipino tenants and farmers. Despite the different land policies passed during that time, the farmers' situation did not improve at all. Land holdings were once again concentrated in the hands of fewer individuals who can afford to buy, register, and acquire fixed titles of their properties.
In 1987, government forces opened fire on about 20,000 farm workers and peasants who were hoping to have a dialogue with President Corazon Aquino in Malacanang. They just came from the Department of Agrarian Reform in Quezon City, where they stayed for 8 days to call the genuine land reform. 13 farmers were massacred. The massacre led to a decision of implementing the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform of the Philippines in 1988. CARP is the redistribution of public and private agricultural lands to farmers and farm workers who are landless. The legal basis for CARP is the Republic Act No. 6657, otherwise known as Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law. Government claims that in the first 3 years of implementation, they met with considerable success. Between July 1987 and March 1990, 930,730 hectares were distributed. The inability of the Department of Agrarian Reform to spend its budget also indicated implementation difficulties. As of June 1990, the department had utilized only 44% of the 14.2 billion pesos allocated to it. The Department of Agrarian Reform cut its land acquisition target by almost half, from 400,000 hectares to 250,000 hectares. According to Davao City Mayor Duterte, 85% land that is given to the farmers is back in the hands of the landlords.
You believe it? About 85% of those given to the farmers, tenants, are back in the hands of the landlords. Well, one thing is that at least they were able to hold money coming to their hands, disposable thing, to enjoy for a short time. Lahat bumalik eh. The land reform was really a faulty one.
Heriberto Peña, a leader of farmers groups in San Jose del Monte, said that at least 5,000 farmers and their families are in danger of being displaced from their farms because of ownership claims by the Araneta family to lands in their villages. With the expiration of the government's long-running comprehensive agrarian reform program on June 30, 2014, Luisita farm workers continued to seek genuine land reform and justice.
Kitang kawang pambabayan, mapera na sila, ang dami na nilang kinuhang tubo, limpak-limpak na. Ang laki pa ng utang sa amin ng pamilya Kowang ko. Yung 1.33 billion na dapat ibigay sa amin, hindi binayaran, dapat inuna kami bayaran para lang may pamuhunan kami sa pagsasaka. Sa ginawang tambiolo nandan, hindi makatarungan talaga yun. Halimbawa, ang barangay Baditi, ginamit nila ang tambiolo. Tinambiolo nila pumunta naman sa Pando, sa Mabilog. Sino naman ang magsasaka sa Kalayo? 150 ang pamasahe. Back and forth, sabi mo na 300. Sa araw-araw, mag-umpisa ka pa lang sa pagsasaka. Ano pa ang kikitain ng mga magsasaka? Wala na.
According to Asian Human Rights Commission, agrarian reform program is systematically slaughtered by landlord-dominated politics. Some of those in Congress and Senate who owned land would use politics in order to block the implementation of land reforms in their areas.